Hi, in this video we're going to be talking about the Microsoft Defender advanced features. So if you don't know, Microsoft Defender on Windows has evolved far beyond a standard antivirus tool. Its advanced security features bring enterprise-grade protection to everyday users, focusing on proactive defense, behavioral monitoring, secure app controls, exploit prevention, and system integrity. These capabilities work together to detect, prevent, and respond to threats automatically, often before a user realizes anything was wrong. So there are various components to Microsoft Defender, as you can see here, and we're going to be showing you some of these. So we'll go through the Microsoft Defender app, go through all these categories, and then show you how it actually works when it detects a problem. So these are the main components of Microsoft Defender. So we're going to talk about these briefly, and then we'll do a couple demonstrations. All right, so there's cloud delivered protection, which uses Microsoft's cloud intelligence network to detect threats in real time. So this will block newly discovered malware. It uses machine learning and billions of endpoint signals, and it finds threats before traditional signature updates exist. So this is useful to provide instant global threat response and reduce infection from zero-day attacks. So a zero-day attack is, think of it as a cyber attack that exploits previously unknown vulnerabilities in software, hardware, or firmware that doesn't have a fix from the vendor. So many times these hackers will find ways to exploit these programs or hardware before the manufacturers find a way to fix them or before they even know there's an actual problem. All right, then we have controlled folder access for anti-ransomware. So if you don't know, ransomware is something you get on your computer. It'll encrypt your files and kind of hold them hostage. And then in order to get them released, you'll have to send the hacker some money, usually in the form of Bitcoin. And then even when you do that, there's a good chance you won't get the code to unlock your files and you'll just end up losing some money. All right, so the controlled folder access will block unknown programs from modifying protected files, allows only trusted and verified applications, and then will alert you when suspicious behavior is detected. All right, then we have exploit protection. So this is a set of mitigations designed to stop software vulnerabilities from being exploited. So it helps with things such as memory tampering and code injection. It'll also work for Windows processes and third-party apps. So even though fully patched systems can still be targeted, this can reduce the attack surface. All right, then we have reputation-based protection. So this blocks harmful apps, downloads, and websites based on a trust score. So you've probably seen this in action. If you go to a website, you get that red screen saying this website can't be trusted and it doesn't allow you to continue. Or sometimes you could continue if you want to agree to the risk. All right, so this includes Smart Screen from Microsoft Edge, Smart Screen for apps and downloads. You might have also encountered this too, where it tries to block a download or at least prompts you or gives you a warning before it lets you download it. And then also potentially unwanted apps. So this stops you from running unknown or suspicious apps before they can cause damage. And if you do run across this, you can allow it once it's blocked if you really need that to be let through to the operating system. All right, then we have core isolation and memory integrity. So this protects key system processes by using virtualization-based security. So it does this by separating sensitive memory areas from the operating system and prevents kernel-level malware and driver attacks. So this is helpful for stopping threats that your typical antivirus software can't catch. All right, then we have Smart App Control. So this only allows trusted, verified applications to run. So when these developers write these applications, they usually get some type of security certificate or have them signed so that your computer will know they are trusted. So when you go to install them, it'll actually let them be installed. So how this works, it uses AI to determine safe versus unsafe applications and then blocks unsigned or malicious apps automatically. So we have network protection, which extends Defender's filtering beyond Microsoft Edge. So let's say you're not a Microsoft Edge user and you use something like Chrome or Firefox, this could still help keep you protected. All right, so it stops communication with command and control servers and even works on non-browser apps. All right, then we have the Enhanced Firewall and Attack Surface Reduction, ASR. So these are rules designed to stop malicious behaviors rather than only detecting malware files. So it could be used to block Office apps from creating executable files, block credential stealing, and prevent unsigned scripts from running. All right, so now let's hop on a Windows 11 computer, show you where to find these, and then we'll show you how they work in real time. All right, so we're on Windows 11 here in the Windows setting under Privacy and Security. So there's a couple ways to get to Windows Security. You could get to it from here by clicking here and then open Windows Security, or you could type it in the search box. But you can see here we have some protection areas, and many times you'll see these actions recommended, but you shouldn't necessarily panic because sometimes it wants you to enable things that you really don't need to, maybe even things that you don't want to enable. So you'll have to do some research before enabling something that you're not sure about. If you click on it, you can see it opens up Windows Security, which we'll get to in a second here. You can see we have some actions needed on device security. But when we go to Windows Security, you'll see these same sections here. So we have our home screen, which is like a summary page. We have security at a glance. So for example, they want you to turn on automatic sample submission. So if it finds something, that'll send it to Microsoft. So that's up to you if you like to send things to Microsoft or not. And then you can dismiss it if you don't want to see it. And you can see these two are green, so they're good to go. So this is telling us it found an unwanted app. And we could review it, which we'll get to in a minute. And then memory integrity is off. So memory integrity is a security feature that protects the system's kernel by running code integrity checks within a virtualized isolated environment. And this is usually disabled by default because it can have a performance impact when you enable it, especially if you're a gamer. All right, so no actions needed for the device performance and health. And we have family options if you're using that feature, and then you can view your protection history. All right, then down here we have virus and threat protection. So no current threats, but it did find 2 threats here. Then you could run a manual scan if you want and actually change the options. And this is where you'll find any allowed threats. Then you can see your protection history as well, stuff that is found. And here's the automatic sample submission again. You can see your update status here. It says it's up to date. And ransomware protection is good. All right, then we have account protection here. So it tells you your account, what you're signed in with. Then you can manage your sign-in options, which will take you back to the Windows setting. Then we have this dynamic lock here. So this is kind of a nice feature. So if you have your phone connected to your computer via Bluetooth and you forget to lock your computer, when you walk away and your phone is out of range of your computer, it'll automatically lock your computer for you. But this is turned off by default as well. All right, then we have our firewall information here. You can see they're turned on for all 3 networks, and we're on the public network because it says active. And then if you click on these links, you could actually open the firewall and manage it from there. All right, app and browser control. All right, so we talked about the smart app control, which will block untrusted apps. And you can go to the settings here. So this here is determined by Windows. So when you do a clean installation, it'll be in evaluation mode. And then depending on your actions, it'll either turn it on or off. And then once this is set, you can't change it without reinstalling Windows, as you can see here. So right now it's set to off, which is usually what happens because if it's on, you might find it blocking things that you don't want it to block. All right, then we have the reputation-based protection. So this blocks unwanted apps by checking them against a cloud database for known threats. All right, then we have our exploit protection, which is already set up for us right out of the box. All right, then we have device security. All right, so this core isolation here. So this is a feature that uses hardware virtualization to protect core operating system processes from malicious software. So this is a security feature that uses hardware virtualization to protect your core operating system processes from malicious software by running them in a separate virtualized environment. And you click on details here. You can see memory integrity is off. So memory integrity is a feature that protects a system's kernel by running code integrity checks. So memory integrity is usually off by default. You can turn it on, but you might want to research it first to make sure there's no performance impact. So the local security authority and Microsoft vulnerable driver block list are usually on by default. You can see our TPM is active and working. All right, then we have device performance and health. So this is just a basic health report So no issues with storage, apps, or Windows time. You could actually do the fresh start here if you want to reinstall Windows. Then we have the family options if you're using parental controls, which is more of a home user thing rather than something you can use at the office. And then we have our protection history. And then we have some settings down here if you want to change your security providers and notifications. All right, so now let's demonstrate a couple of actions that you'll see when trying to download a file or go to a suspicious website. All right, so let's say we're going to download this batch file here. It might be a little suspicious. All right, so now you can see it thinks it might be a suspicious file because it's a batch file, and it asks you if you want to keep it anyway. So you could either keep it, which will let you download it, or delete it, which won't download it. So that's one way that Microsoft Edge kind of protects you here. All right, then another way here, let's say we go to this website. So here's a site that has been reported as unsafe. So it blocks you from going to that site. You can see it's using Microsoft Defender Smart Screen. So you could go back, and then most of the time you'll see this option here, giving you some additional information. Then you could say, hey, this site is good. Let's report it as good, which I don't know how many people it'll take to report it before they allow it through. And then you could actually continue to the site if you know it's safe and bypass this warning. So obviously you want to make sure it's a safe site before you actually click on this link here. All right, then we have this batch file here, which has some suspicious code in it. So we're going to run this. You can see operation did not complete because the file contains a virus or potential unwanted software. You can see we had that pop up there as well. So if we click OK, and you can click on the notification before it goes away. So if we click on it here, we go to protection history. So you can see this threat was quarantined and it says it's severe. And if you click on it, you'll have a UAC prompt, so you'll need to be an admin to get there. Then it tells you about the file. Then you have some actions here if you want to restore it or remove it. So if it does block something and you know it's okay, you could come here and restore it. You might have to re-download it again if it deleted it. So that's going to vary depending on what you do here. But you can see that file is now gone. Now we got the pop-up again. All right, then we have the same executable file here. But you can see this time it didn't delete the file, it just didn't let it run it. All right, then we have the CFA tool, which is provided by Microsoft. So this simulates trying to write a file to a protected folder. So let's say Documents. So you can see there unauthorized changes blocked. So we have protected folder access blocked with a low priority there. So you can see there the CFA tool tried to write to documents, blocked by controlled folder access. And you could allow apps to access your protected folder, but you should only allow apps that you trust. All right, so there are some examples of Microsoft Defender in action. It's kind of hard to create some other examples without really causing some damage here or some potential damage. But as you can see, there are many ways that it is used to protect your system from things like downloaded files, writing to protected directories, or going to malicious websites. So you might want to go through all the options here and just take a look at them yourself just to see what everything does. All right, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe.